2 years ago. I thought I had everything figured out, a solid marriage, a beautiful little boy, and a life that seemed stable enough to count on. My name's Nick. I'm 35 now. Back then, I was still with my wife. Well, ex-wife now. Let's call her Nina. She's 32, and we have a 7-year-old son, Mikey. Nina and I had a long history. We started dating in high school, totally smitten with each other, and even followed each other to college. I joined the Army early on, thinking it would help us avoid future issues, and she waited for me, just like we'd promised each other. During college, we got married. It wasn't some extravagant event, but it felt meaningful. Then Mikey was born, and that's when everything began to unravel. From the moment our son arrived, Nina was like a different person. Her mood was constantly dark. She lashed out at me over anything and everything, and the tension in the house grew unbearable. At first, I chalked it up to the stress of new motherhood, postpartum struggles, or just the exhaustion of raising a baby. I tend to be easygoing, so I didn't engage in the fights. I kept telling myself things would settle down eventually, but they didn't. In fact, things just got worse. As Mikey got older, Nina would sometimes go completely silent, not just with me, but with our son too. It finally hit me that this wasn't a rough patch. This was a deeper issue, and I knew we needed to address it. Problem was, trying to talk to her was like walking into a minefield. She's the kind of person who flies off a handle over the smallest thing, but then shuts down completely when you ask what's really wrong. It was a nightmare cycle. I'd try to guess what was upsetting her, and 90% of the time, I'd get it wrong. When I did guess right, it only bought me a few minutes of peace before the next explosion. Eventually, I felt backed into a corner. I had to figure out the truth, no matter how painful it might be. One day, I noticed a dating app on her phone. That was the tipping point. I decided to make a fake profile using a random guy's photo and see if she'd talk to me. If she was really looking to cheat, maybe she'd open up to this stranger. Sure enough, she took the bait. She was shy about her personal life, but she definitely seemed open to meeting someone new, if she liked them enough. That already said a lot. She was emotionally, and maybe even physically, ready to cheat, just not dumb enough to spill everything to a random guy online. That gave me a new idea. Back in high school, before Nina and I got together, she had dated another guy. Let's call him Jake. I remember what he looked like, and with a little digging through social media, I found a more current photo of him. I used that for a second fake profile. My gut told me that if she thought she was reconnecting with an old flame, someone she trusted, she might finally open up, and she did. The second she thought Jake was back in her life, she let everything out. She said breaking up with him had been a huge mistake. She talked about how he'd ended up more successful than me, earning more money, living a better life. She resented choosing me instead of him. Then came the dagger. She admitted she hated me. Worse still, she said she couldn't stand our son because he looked too much like me. I just sat there, staring at the screen, trying to breathe through the hurt. How could anyone say something like that about their own child? But I wasn't done. I pushed further through the fake account. I asked her why she hadn't left me if she was so miserable. She said she'd gotten used to the lifestyle and didn't think she could support herself on her own. Then she added, "At least Nick pays the bills." That was her reason for staying. Convenience. I had one final question. I asked her, if I told you to leave him right now, promise to take care of you, would you leave your son too? She didn't even hesitate. Her answer came within a minute. Yes. She said she'd walk away from her child if it meant being with someone she believed could give her a better life. I was sick to my stomach. That was it. I dropped the act. I sent her a picture of myself, just me, Nick, along with a message telling her it was over and to pack her things. Her shock was immediate. She started backpedaling, then threatened me, said she wouldn't agree to a divorce, and would use our son against me. But I wasn't going to be manipulated. I hired a top-notch lawyer, and we went to work dividing the assets. In the end, she walked away with nothing but her clothes, which honestly felt like poetic justice. The custody battle was the next hurdle. In court, she turned on the waterworks, saying no child should be taken from his mother. But I had the chat logs and other proof that exposed how she really felt about Mikey. The judge sided with me. I got primary custody, and she was granted only visitation. Her mask fell off completely then. She said if she couldn't get full custody and child support, no doubt, then she didn't want anything to do with our son. She stormed out. Even the judge commented that he'd rarely felt more confident in a decision. I kept Mikey out of the worst of it. He was just a kid, too young to deal with that kind of emotional mess. I told him a version of the truth that he could handle, just enough so he wouldn't be confused or hear some twisted version from someone else. He eventually asked me if I was going to find him a new mom one day. I told him I hadn't really thought about dating again yet. For about 6 months, I focused completely on being a good father. Then one day at the playground, I met someone, a single mom. I wasn't expecting anything serious, but my son connected with her right away, and that gave me the confidence to open up a little. Things progressed slowly. We're living together now, but I'm not rushing back into marriage, and thankfully, she respects that. She gives me the kind of love, respect, and emotional connection I never had before. Looking back, I still can't believe how far things spiraled. But one thing's crystal clear. Life is too short to stay with someone who doesn't respect you or your child. We both deserve better, and now, finally, we have it.